We're studying IGCSE maths and we're starting circle theorems revision 1. The first thing we're looking at is the parts of the circle. This is important to understand what all of these are before you move on to the rules. Because look, they're using words like sector, they're using words like circumference, all of that. So the diameter is basically a line passing through the center, which has the ends on the circumference. Radius is basically point between center and the circumference. Diameter is twice the radius. So this would be one radius, this would be second radius, so 2r. Next thing is, what is a sector? Sector is basically 2 radius. And so if you have 2 radius, and this thing right here, please underline it, is called an arc. This is called an arc. What is arc? It's part of circumference. So I have the whole circumference, but if I divide the circumference into a fraction, that's called an arc. Now, what is a sector? A sector is a region subtended by 2 radius and an arc. So you have arc, you have 2 radius. That's what a sector is. Region by 2 radius and the arc. Any questions? Now, next thing is, what is a segment? Segment is region subtended by arc and a chord. Well, we know that this is a chord and this is the arc. Now again, this is also the arc, but that's the major arc. Any questions? Finish writing and tell me when you're done.
Sir, is there no problem if I screenshot it all and then write it later?
The problem is you will not write it later. It's there's a less chance. Inshallah, you may, or hopefully you
I will
could.
write and send it.
Then take a screenshot. Good. Diana, are you writing? Or
Yes,
taking
sir.
screenshot like your sister?
I'm drawing.
Drawing. Nice. Good. Rashid, back. Can you hear me, Rashid?
Yeah, sir, I was back long ago.
Long ago. So did you have to tell me? And have you finished writing everything?
Yeah, sir.
Now take a screenshot quick. If you haven't finished, take a screenshot. We have to move on.
Sir,
And
I have
complete
not
writing
drawn the
afterwards.
diagrams and I have taken the screenshot. Only the diagrams are not drawn. These 3 ones, the segments.
All right. Now you didn't have to make this though. You just had to make these. Let's go then. Can I continue? Let's move here. The rule 1. Now this you have to write. Rule 1 is circle theorem rule 1. We'll do the question later. I was hoping to do the question because I thought you had finished the chapter in school, but you have not. No worries. Let's go over it once. So this is the circle. Now, if I have a center, you have to draw this, by the way. There's no screenshotting this part of the class. Now, if I take, let's say, anything, I'll call the center O from now on. Okay. O. And I have, let's say, a point A here and a point B here. And I also take this right here, one chord from B and one another chord from B, A and B. And I'll call this part C. And what we realize is the angle AOB, or let's say the angle right here, A and B, angle A is always twice of angle B. Is that clear? Write this in your notebook. So the rule is rule 1. Angle A is twice of angle B, or 2 times angle B, 2x angle B. And now when you're done writing this, please write this part. Angle at center twice at angle at circumference. Finished? Any questions?
No, sir.
Now let's try a circle right here. And all we have to do is, let's say I'll make something like this. Now your job is to find the angle. So let's say angle, this one is, by the way, write one more thing here. Angle at center equal twice of angle on circumference in same segment. Write this word as well. Angle at center is twice of angle on circumference in the same segment. Now this part is very important, in same segment. In the exam, this part, and center is twice of circumference. Now if I ask you, let's say this is x, and this is, let's say this is x, and this is 10. What is x? Rachit, tell me. Rachit is not here. Lula, tell me. What is x?
We know that angle A is twice of angle B.
Okay. So therefore x is?
So x is 10 into 10.
10 into 2. Twice.
Yeah, 10 into 2.
20 degrees. Therefore x is 20 degrees. Diana, any questions?
No, sir.
Fine. Assalamu alaikum, Safa. Why are you late to class?
Sir, she was sleeping at the time.
Speak louder, say it again.
I was sleeping, sir.
But you have to, the timing is exactly the same every day, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to join on time, because we have done so much, you missed all of it. Now my classes, if you're not present, you're going to miss a lot of things.
Sorry,
This
sir.
it's quite careless of all of you, right? If I don't remind, if I don't send a message, perhaps you'll stop joining. Join on time from next onwards.
Okay, sir.
Now let's look at this one. Perhaps
Sir, can
something
you
different.
show it again, sir? My laptop went in blackout mode.
Have you written this? Diana, Safa,
No,
all of you
sir.
write this.
Yes,
Can't take a
sir.
screenshot of this.
Yes, sir, I wrote.
Wrote. Let's look at another question meanwhile. Who has not written, write it. Because this part is not up for screenshots. Now, another question is, let's say I have O right here, and some angle like this. Now this one is 30. Your job is to find y. So what is y? Diana, tell me.
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, you have at the center you have the angle 30, and your job is to find what is the angle y.
Is it 60?
Not 60. Why? Because look, we know that let's first write A and B. So this is A always, center is always A, and this is always B. Okay, if I say A is always 2B, therefore 30 must be equals to 2y. So the angle at center is twice the angle at this angle at center is twice angle on circumference. So which is the angle on circumference, Diana? Angle at circumference, which is it? Y or 30?
Why?
Y is at circumference. So we know, and what is the angle at the center?
30.
So we know that 30 must be twice of the angle at center, 30 must be twice of angle on circumference y. So 30 is equals to 2y. Therefore, what is y?
Sir, y equals to 15.
Y equals to 30 divided by 2.
2, 15 degrees. Any questions, Diana?
No, sir.
Fine.
So,
Well,
sir,
then,
if we are given one value and we know that the other angle is like half of it, means it is shorter than it, so we shall divide it by 2.
not always.
Yeah.
What about this one?
Okay.
Let's see. What if you have this angle, which is smaller, and perhaps you have that, okay, but I don't want you to think about it like that. What I want you to think about is this is center and this is circumference. All of this is circumference. So the angle at circumference must always be half of the angle at center, or angle of center is always twice of the angle at circumference. So this is always bigger. So yeah, it's bigger, and this is smaller. So that's why that way is also fine. Then. Let's try the next rule now. The next rule is rule number 2. Safa, read.
Angle subtended by same arc at some circumference are equal.
What is the meaning of subtended, Lula?
Subtended, does it mean extended?
It means made. Okay. It means to make something from something. All right. Whenever you hear the word, I want you to think they're telling you that the angle is made from, or that from that point. Okay. Now, what does this mean? Well, what the rule means is rule number 2. You have the circle and you have the center. Let's say I have two points here. Okay. This is an arc. What is this part called? If I divide the circumference, it's going to be called an arc. I could have even longer arc. Let's say I take it here. Now this will be the arc. One arc is the other arc. It's like parts of the circumference. I'm dividing the circumference into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. Which is smaller, 2 is smaller. Or let's make it more obvious now. Let's take it something like this. So this is my smaller arc. And if I make any angle with this arc, let's say, and any angles on anywhere in the circle, like this, all of these will have the same angle. So if I say this is 10 degrees, okay, then this will also be 10, this will also be 10, this will also be 10, this will also be 10. Because they are starting from the same points, A and B, this have the common point, A and B. Now, no matter what I do, let's say I try something else. I try an angle like this. Let's say somewhere here. Can you tell me what is the angle of this? What is X?
10.
10, right? Because, okay, it's 10. Fine. I know that same, they're part of the same segment. Now, okay, if I make a line right here to join point A and B, Okay, I'm going to make a line joining point A and B. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make another angle, let's say right here. Now can you guess what is this angle? X. Is that also 10?
No.
Rachit, what is X? X is
I don't know, sir.
not 10. We don't know exactly. X is not 10. It only works if it's in the same segment. Because I've told you what a segment is. Segment is when you divide the circle as part of like a cookie. Let's say, or you have a line, you make a line like this, joining, you make a chord, and then you divide the circle based on the chord. So all the angles in the top section are going to be the equal. So if angles are here, then all of these angles are equal, no matter how big, where they are. But it cannot be here, below this line AB. It can only be above. Fine. So let's write this, make the diagram. And instead of writing this, just write ABC. And mention this as arc. Mention this as chord. Mention this as segment. And this is also segment. But they must be in the same segment. So the rule is angle subtended by same arc, angle subtended by common arc are equal or in the same segment are equal. And the formula is basically going to be A is equals to B plus is equals to C. All these angles are same. Any questions?
No, sir.
Finish writing. Now next thing you have is, which is easier than anything else. If let's say you have a diameter, okay, if you have a semicircle or a diameter like this, and you make an angle using a diameter, it will always be 90 degrees. Finish writing rule 2 first and tell me when you're done. Rule 2 done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now, okay. Now this, yeah, look at rule number 3. Rule number 3 is if you have a diameter of if your arc is basically semicircle. Look, let's say if I take a circle and I make the diameter, and then with that diameter, if I make any angle, that will always be 90 degrees. Or what I'm doing is the angle is basically in a semicircle. So diameter divides the circle in 2 parts, equal parts. So if I remove all of this part, let's say the part below it, this part, I'll be left with a semicircle. So the rule actually is angle in semicircle is equal to 90. Write the rule. Both of these lines mean the same thing. Semicircle or made by the diameter is the same thing. Tell me when you're done writing.
Done, sir.
Now the next rule we have is even easier, which is if I have a circle, okay, and I have the center, fine. Okay, but what I don't really care about the center in this. What I care about is if I have any quadrilateral or any shape with 4 points on the circumference, or let's say any shape, okay. What is a circular quadrilateral? A circular quadrilateral is shape made by 4 points on the circumference. Right? You see A, B, C, D. That's what I have here. A, B, C, D. Now, in this, what happens is if I have, let's say, A and B, let's say X, let's say A and B, or A and C, and B and D. Now, opposite angles are always equals to 180. The opposite angles A plus C or C plus D plus B will be equal to 180. Rashid, any questions?
No, sir.
Now look, right now you have no question. When you start doing papers, you'll see how difficult these can get. So things are quite easy now. Things get difficult when you start doing tests. Because the test I give students, nobody scores more than about a 60 or 70%. And in IGCSE, A star is at 90%. So please ask me if you have doubts. Don't keep it in. Now this is what a circle
Okay,
quadrilateral
sir.
is. But what is the rule? The rule is, I'll give you the rule. Rule is opposite angles in a circular quadrilateral are equal or add up to 180 degrees. Safa, any questions?
No, sir.
Then I'll ask you a question then. Let's say question number 1. Question 1 is if you have a circle like this, make the diagram as well in your writing. If you have a question like this, perhaps, and I ask you what is, if this is, let's say 20 degrees, then what is X? Do not tell me.
Yes.
What is X in this question? Rachit, answer in the chat.
So to find X,
Yes, you have to find X.
okay, now you added 30, right?
Yeah, so there are a lot of angles in the quadrilateral, but we care about only one thing. If you look at rule 4, only one thing matters, or only the opposite angles matter. So in this
it's
question,
written opposite angles in a circular quadrilateral add up to 180.
okay,
So 180 minus 20.
So we'll do so x plus 20 is equals to 180. Therefore, x is 180 minus
Sir,
20,
I've sent you in the chat.
which is 160. Fine. Any questions?
No, sir.
And next one, Rachit, try doing it. Now you have a quadrilateral like this. Doesn't matter where it is, it should touch the circumference. If it's not touching, then the rule doesn't work. All the points must be on the circumference. Now, if I ask you, let's say, forget that. Just tell me what is, or in this question, tell me what is y then.
Sir,
Rachit, what is y?
150 degrees.
150. Because 150 plus 30 will give me 180, and
180.
160 plus 20
Plus
will give me
120
180.
equals to 180.
Then the same thing, if you see here, you have, let's say, if I give you 100, then Safa, tell me what is x. Rachit in the chat.
180.
No, what is x? So we know that opposite angles, they add up to 180. So what is x?
Over shift 100. It will be
Shift
minus
100.
1.
So we'll be
It
left
will
with
be-
80 degrees.
Yes. So from question number 1, from where did we get 150?
150, right? Diana, work with me. What is y? First, tell me what it equal. Tell me, yeah.
We don't have y.
We don't have y, but how do I find y?
20 plus 30 plus 160.
Not that. What we have to do is we look at opposite angles. Now, what is opposite to y? Can you tell me?
30.
30. Now, these opposite always add up to how much? 180. Now, can you find y?
180 minus 30.
Which is?
$50.
150. 150.
50.
Now, okay, that's done. Safa, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let's look at rule number 4 is done, rule 5, which I think is easier than the rest of it, rest of the rules. Rule 5. We only have 6 rules in this chapter, then the chapter is done. Rule 5 is tangent to circle, or between, let's say, angle between tangent and radius is always 90 degrees. What does that look like? Please make all the diagrams in your notebook. If, let's say, I have a tangent. Now, can someone tell me what is a tangent? Rachit, what is a tangent?
I don't know, sir.
Write in your notebook the definition of tangent. So you should have done this in chapter 7, I think. Tangent is a line touching only one point on circle. Clear? So this line must only touch one point. Right now it's not touching one point. Right now it's not touching anything. But if I go like this, it only touches one point right here. Literally right here. But let's say if I bring it closer, that's going through the line. That's touching 2 points. This A and this B. So this is not a tangent. A tangent only touches at one point, which is right here. Let's call this point, let's say call it T. That's where it touches. And this line is a tangent because it only touches the circle at one point. Now, can someone tell me what is this black line here? From center
Sir,
to the circumference.
radius.
Radius. From center to the circumference, that's a radius. R. Now this angle will always be 90 degrees. Always. Any questions?
No.
Now I'll make it a little bit different. I'll make one tangent right here, and it's going to touch at one point. And I'll make one more tangent right here. Now it touches, this point touches right here. Let's call it A, and let's call this guy B. Now both these points are radius, and both these angles are equal to 90 degrees. So it doesn't matter where your tangent is. As long as you have a radius joining the tangent, that is always 90 degrees. Now let's move on to the next one. Yep. Now the next thing is rule number 6. Rachit, read.
Yes, sir. Alternate segment theorem.
Alternate segment theorem. Okay. Alternate segment theorem. What does that mean? What that means is it's the most challenging people find it, but it's not really challenging, not at all. Alternate segment theorem. Now please write everything. I don't know if you're writing, but you must write all the rules, because the exams are going to be based on this. Finally, you have the circle. After the class is done, I want all of you to send me your notes, whatever you've written in this class. Now, if I have this, let's say a circle, and I make a diameter like this, because two radius, right? A line passing through the center. A line passing through the center. Okay, it passes through the center, fine. And then if I make a line right here, can someone tell me what is this angle X? Luna, Rachit, Diana, Safa, what is X? Check your previous rules. Is there anything about a diameter and an angle?
$90.
90. So angles with the diameter are always going to be 90. Rachit, why did you not answer?
Sir, your voice is breaking a bit.
I see. Now, if I make a tangent to this point right here, this is a tangent. Let's call this point A, this point B, and this point C. What you will realize is that this angle over here, A, is always equal to this angle B. So angle A is equal to angle B. This is called the alternate segment rule. Ask me if you have any questions.
So, sir, now if C is 90, A and B would be 45, right?
If C is 90, It will not be 45, Rachit. There will be anything which will add up to 90. This could be 60 and this could be 30. And this could be 90,
Okay.
right?
So
No, sir.
they can
Sir, you said no angle A equals to angle B. That is why.
This B, right?
So
Angle A is B. Yes.
they will
Okay,
need
like
to be
that.
equal.
No, that they are not, they can be equal. They can be 45, 45. But what the point is, they're not always going to be equal. Fine. Let's call this angle number C.
So, sir, they'll add up to 90.
They add up to 90. So angle A plus C adds up to 90. But the theorem is only about that A is equals to B. So perhaps if you have, let's say, a triangle like this and the tangent, okay? And if you look at the opposite angle, like this is the angle right here, what you're going to take is you're going to take this one and the one opposite to this one. So that's this one. So A and B are equal. So if I make another diagram, let's say, write this first in your notebook. Make this in your notebook and write the rule alternate segment theorem. Now this, people find it difficult, but we'll practice a few questions. It's not going to be difficult. Now if I make a diameter like this, and I have a triangle, something like this, fine. And at this point right here, I'm going to make a tangent. T. Now, okay, if I say this is 20 degrees, can you tell me what is X? Lola, what is X? Others answer in the chat.
So X will add up with X will add up to make 90.
No, what is the rule?
A equals to B.
So the angle right here, let's say this is 20, then it has one more angle right here. Now this, opposite to this one, is always going to be equal to this guy. Fine. So let's say this guy and this guy are always equal.
So both of them
Actually,
will be 20.
20. So X is 20.
So what about
So
the
what's
C?
the reason? Sir, what's the reason?
What is the reason? I'll tell you. I'll prove it here. Now, if I say, let's say, okay, this is 90, and if I say, let's look at a proof right here. Okay, if this was 45 degrees, or let's say not 45, let's say 30. Can you tell me what is this angle? C. Let's say angle
30.
angle Y. How much is it?
30.
Not 30. Why? Because look, we also know from this rule that the angle between tangent and the radius is 90. So we know that since this is the radius, this much is the radius, right? And I have, so this whole thing will be 90. So if I add Y, basically this whole thing is 90. So if I add Y and 30, it should equal to 90. So what is Y? Tell me. Diana.
$90
Minus,
minus 30.
and the answer is 60. So I want the answer directly. 60. So okay, that's 60. Let's write it right here. If this is 60, Y is 60 degrees. Now can someone tell me what is X then?
60.
What is it? Not 60. Not equal to this
So
one. Why?
X is 40.
Not also 40. I'll tell you why. The thing is, we'll look at the total sum of angle in a triangle is equals to 180. Write this in your notebook. Sum of angles in a triangle is equals to 180. Now, how many angles do I have in this triangle over here?
2.
Which angles do I have? I have 90, I have X and
60.
60. So I have 90 plus X plus 60 must be equal to 180. So what is X?
So X equals to 90 plus 60 minus 180.
So tell me the answer. Rashid, write the answer in the chat. Safa, you have to tell me the answer. So 180, then we'll take 90. I'm waiting for you. I'm not going to give the answer for this. All right, take your time. Tell me what is X.
Can I say
Tell me.
30?
Yeah, I got 32.
30. So therefore, what do we realize? That this angle and this angle are equal. Yes? So if you had X right here, which is actually 30, so this one and this one are equal. Always. Fine?
So instead of making all of these calculations, if we got the 30, which is down, can we just automatically write the one up?
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. And you have to give the rule, alternate segment theorem. That's the what you have to mention for this.
The
So whenever
reason
you get,
for-
let's say, the reason, yes. So let's say I have 20 here. Okay, then what is X? Over here, what is X?
X will be 20. The reason is alternate segment theorem.
Right, let's try one more question, I guess. Now, have you written the rule here? Let's remove all the unnecessary stuff, especially all of this, all of that, all of that, that, and that. You must write this in your notebook. So angle A is equals to angle B. And let's just say angle B is equals to angle A right here. Question? Well, finish writing this quickly. I hope you have written it. Also write this, sum of angles in a triangle is 180. Rashid, any questions?
No, sir.
Would you understand why they're equal? Do you understand the proof behind it?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Can I move on? Now I'm going to the question, the past of the question, then we're done. Where is it? This one. Naira, read the question.
A, B, C, and D lie on the circle center O. DAE is a straight line. Find the value of U and the value of V.
Veera, tell me the answer in the chat quick. I need one
Yeah,
person
sir.
to work with me for the angle of, let's say, the angle V. All right, Diana, work with me. Now, okay, before you move on, there's one more rule you should write in your notebook. Please write it, which I think I've given it to you to other people already. Write it here. Rule number 7. Don't write it as rule 7. Write this as angle properties rule. Now these rules before circle theorem, by the way, right? Circle theorem rules. We have finished angle properties in class already. The rule is angles on a straight line add up to 180. A plus B is equals to 180. This is rule 1. Now you just need this for this right now. So write it down. Angles on straight line add up 180. That's it. Finish writing and tell me when you're done. Now we're taking longer classes these days, especially because you guys are quite behind on syllabus. Now tell me when you've done writing this.
Done, sir.
Diana, Safa,
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
let's do the question. Now quickly, you have the questions given here. Now Diana, you were working with me. The rest of you, I want you to work things out on your own. Try, don't be scared, try, do whatever you can, and tell me the answer for U and V. Right, Safa and Lula, Diana, let's work on the first one, V. Now, Diana, can you tell me how do I find this angle? Firstly, can you see that this ABDO or ABCD is actually a circular quadrilateral? Is it?
Yes.
Because 4 points on the circle. Circular quadrilateral. Now, okay, it's circular quadrilateral, fine. So what? Right? Well, there's a lot you can do actually with this quadrilateral. Okay. Now, can I find this angle here? What is X? Tell me, Diana. Instead, if I'm forgetting the circular quadrilateral right now, let's just focus on this line, straight line here. It's a straight line. Rule number 1 for angle properties. Angles on a straight line do what?
180.
180. So how do I find X? Or what add up to 180, tell me? Which angles?
180 minus 80.
Right, so X plus 80 is equals to 180. Therefore, X is equals to 180 minus 80. Minus 80. So what is X? 100. Now I know this is 100. Fine. Now we know it's 100 degrees. Now let's focus on the circular quadrilateral now. Rachit, are you solving the question?
Yeah, sir. Actually, my laptop battery went off, so I came in the other device. So I'm starting now.
All right, no worries. Rachit, these questions, we're just starting now. This is where you need a lot of practice, right? The more you practice, the better you get. Now, okay, done. We found 100. Now, Diana, can you tell me how do I find U? What is U?
It's 100.
Not 100. Now the rule is, if you look in over here, read it, Diana, out loud.
Angle at center twice. No. Opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral equals to 180.
180. Now I want you to change the wording a little bit. Okay. In your notebook, please check wherever you have written circular, write cyclic over there. in your notebook, wherever you have written circular quadrilateral, write cyclic quadrilateral. Now, okay, so Diana, we know that opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. So how do I find u? What is the relationship between u and 100?
180 minus 100.
So 180 minus 100, that means u plus 100 is equals to 180. Therefore, u is 180 minus 100. Now, this part is more important, not the second part. U plus 180 is u plus 100 is 180. Therefore, u is going to be 80 degrees. Any questions?
No.
So we'll write u as 80. Now, Safa, work with me to find v. What is v? Can you tell me, Safa, where is the angle v placed? Is it at circumference or center? Where?
In the center.
Center. And where is angle u placed?
At the certain, like,
Circumference. So what is the relationship between angle at circumference and center? Give me the answer in the chat for v.
Sir, I've sent you the answer for V, sir.
All right. Now give me the rule as well. Why is it your answer? Why is your answer like that?
Sir, for V.
Yes, v. The reason.
Okay.
Lula, can you help me? Or Safa, how do we find v? Lula, Safa, Diana, how do I find v? It's the first rule. First rule of circle theorem.
It is A equals to 2 into B.
Okay. So what is A? What is B?
A is 100 and V is we don't know.
No, not true. I just want you to focus on these angles. This one and this one. Okay. This angle and this angle. Forget everything else. Safa, you were saying something?
yes, sir, I was saying that formula angle A is equal to 2 into angle B.
And what is the wording? Say the words.
It's twice the center angle.
So, well, it's not, yeah, it's twice the center angle. So V is equals to twice of 80. Therefore,
160.
160. Now, guys, I see that you're writing the equations I gave you. That is only to help you memorize. The reasons are not A is to B. Now look at this right here. What you need to know is angle at center is twice. So this guy, A, I'll write it separately actually. Write it like this in your notebook. This is B and this is 2B. Fine. Or angle instead of A and B, right? Angle AOC is equals to twice into angle ACB. AOC means this is the center O. The center is here O. So AOC. This one, actually no, AOB. AOB is twice the angle of at this one. So 2B, this is 2B, that's B. Or just write it like this. A is equals to 2. Now that's all for now. We'll look at this in the next class again. Please write this, and we'll end the class right here. Any questions, anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
What is
No,
the next
sir.
class?